Hey, it's Mikexingchen. X-ray vision is perhaps one Superman power I really had the least interest in. I mean, to be able to fly would be awesome, invincibility, super speed would be superb, and X-ray vision? Yeah, I guess that would be super awesome if I gambled or wanted to be a doctor or had any desire to beat the 3-card Mountie game, but since I really have no interest in any of those things, I think it would just be wasted on me. Look, I'm not saying I turn it down if I could have that ability, I'm just saying it wouldn't be my preferred mutant power, that's all. I mean, can you imagine one of the X-Men's power is X-ray vision, and that's like his only power? It'd be like, hey Magneto, I really can't hurt you, but I see that you prefer boxers. Anyway, it may seem like X-ray vision when I'm talking about it. I might be talking about something straight out of a comic book or in a sci-fi movie, but apparently there is a girl, a real-life girl, who supposedly has this ability. So let me tell you about her. Born in 1987 in the Russian city of Saransk, Natasha Demnika discovered her unique ability when she was just 10 years old. During that time, between 2003 and 2004, Natasha scanned her friends and relatives and presented them her observations. She said during an interview, "I have 2 sights. I can switch any minute without reason. Should I want to see the state of health of a person? The switching makes no difficulty to me. I just need to think about it. I can see the full structure of the human body, how internal organs are positioned and how they function. Afflicted organs produce a kind of radiation." Also, Natasha says that her X-ray sight only works in the daytime, and like some kind of plot twist, she cannot use her special ability to scan her own internal organs. Now, according to some media reports and also according to the people she has scanned, her diagnosis appeared to be sometimes more accurate than those made by medical professionals and doctors with the most advanced of equipment. Some people who have come to her even claim that Natasha was able to find illnesses and problems that they did not know they had in the first place. Now, because of all the local media coverage, Natasha has attracted the attention of various other media agencies from around the world, most notably the Discovery Channel, who sponsored a study that was conducted on Natasha to get to the bottom of how her ability to scan people really works. Now, Natasha and her mother claim that she can detect abnormalities in the body with 100% accuracy, and all she needs is a few minutes to scan a person from head to toe. So, in March of 2004, the Discovery Channel, together with the Committee for the Scientific Investigation of Claims of the Paranormal and the Commission for Scientific Medicine and Mental Health, prepared a simple test to unlock the mystery of Natasha's X-ray vision. And to make the test as simple as possible and as non-invasive as possible, Natasha only needed to scan 7 volunteers, 6 of them with abnormalities or medical conditions, while 1 was completely well and normal. During the test, Natasha was provided with a set of cards with instructions in both English and Russian, where she should indicate the abnormalities she has spotted on which participant. And in order for the researchers to arrive at a conclusive result, Natasha had to identify at least 4 of the 7 conditions. Now, while Natasha was able to identify some of the conditions correctly, her biggest blow was not being able to identify the patient with a metal plate in his head, and instead said that the patient with the appendix removed had a piece of his skull missing. Because of this, the study yielded to unsatisfactory results, and there were other variables. For one, Natasha claimed that she could detect each anomaly in just a few minutes, but the entire test took her 4 hours to make her diagnosis. Also, several protocol violations were discovered as Natasha arrived earlier than expected, and she was able to interact with 2 of the volunteers at the facility. People who were present says that Natasha's mother was also in the testing room, and Natasha's friend, who was acting as an interpreter, was found to have been constantly sending and receiving text messages during the course of the test. However, Britain's The Sun newspaper was able to conduct their own study with one of their journalists volunteering. The journalist Bryony Warden suffered fractures and injuries to her leg after a car accident that required reconstructive procedures and the use of metal plates. Unlike the study conducted by the Discovery Channel, the results from The Sun came out conclusive that Natasha indeed had special abilities. Warden said after the study, quote, "She described my pelvis as asymmetrical and pointed to the right side with several fractures. Then she said she saw traces of several metal pins and screws that dented in the bone. Without seeing the scars, she could not know that a fortnight ago my leg was fastened with several pins and screws." This is really interesting because in a lot of Eastern medical books that has been passed down for centuries or even thousands of years, there has always been stories describing ancient Chinese doctors, especially the ones that were considered like Shenyi or doctors with almost godlike abilities, to be able to diagnose patients and see what's wrong within their bodies just by looking at them. And it was actually believed that these doctors had supernormal abilities where they can actually see inside a patient's body. Some of the famous doctors that were said to have this ability include Hua Tuo, Sun Simiao, and Bian Que, who are considered the most holy of doctors in Chinese history. And one of the most notable cases of one of these abilities was when Hua Tuo went to treat Cao Cao, which some of you guys might know as a character in Dynasty Warriors, but he was actually the emperor of the Wei Kingdom kingdom during the Three Kingdom dynasty in Chinese history. So the story goes, Hua Tuo went to see Cao Cao, who had just like this crazy headache. And as soon as Hua Tuo saw Cao Cao, he said that there was a tumor in his head. Now, of course, Cao Cao didn't believe him, and he thought Hua Tuo was sent there to assassinate him, to crack open his head, because how could anyone just know that there's a tumor in his head? So then Cao Cao locked up Hua Tuo, and Hua Tuo ended up dying in prison. But at the end, Cao Cao really did die of a tumor in the head. So this is an ability that I have always believed that humans could potentially possess, and it has a lot to do with the third eye. If you want to see more information about that, I'll link one of my videos in my description box below. But anyway, back to Natasha. At the onset of discovering her daughter's abilities, Titania, Natasha's mother, tried to actually conceal it from the public, but when word began to travel fast and wide, their tiny apartment in Russia flooded with curious onlookers and, well, patients. Her father Nikolai even said, "We've been hiding our daughter's gift for a long time, but her uniqueness became public property, and after that, our family was haunted by reporters. Local newspapers also wrote about her, and some articles brought us much sorrow." Anyway, Natasha did finish school, and in 2008, she started working at the Moscow Center for Special Human Diagnostics, and whether or not her X-ray eyes are indeed real is still a matter of debate. And I'm not saying that she does indeed have that ability. I'm just saying I believe that ability do exist in some people. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later.